The World Series is finally here. Ray, I know you're pumped. I know I'm pumped. I know all of you listening to this are
Oh
pumped.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But if we want to look back on the season, it took a lot to get here. First, it was Rob Manfred taking his head out of his ass to finally get a plan for a season. Next, it was fighting through the condensed season that came with controversy, oh plenty. From man on second in extra innings to the universal DH rule all the way to the expanded playoffs. We fought through teams going weeks without playing and too many damn doubleheaders. But now, none of
Yeah.
that matters because we finally have reached it. We finally reached the Fall Classic. We finally reached the pinnacle of baseball. The 2020 World Series is upon us. But of course, this is Fourth and Long Radio. This is our 2020 World Series preview show. I am your host, Ross Allen, joined this week for our special preview show with Ray Rodriguez, a familiar face. And last time we saw him was on opening day on a live stream where me, him, and friend of the show, Ryan Watson, all attempted to consume way too much alcohol and way too much food, and we ended up all throwing up and all being in copious amounts of pain that evening.
Yeah, that was a terrible, terrible night. So it's good. It became full circle though. Opening day started off just absolutely feeling terrible with alcohol and booze and throwing up. So it's good to finish the season with a nice, chill, relaxed podcast.
It's a fourth long, so nothing about this is ever going to be chill and relaxed. Hope you realize that. I am
Very
glad
true.
that at the very least, our pain and suffering made for a very good stream. The beginning was just a decent stream watching the baseball game, but the ending,
Yeah.
it was very obvious that we were not okay. I
Oh yeah.
I don't even remember like the last half hour.
No, it was really bad. Yeah, I had not a good time.
But at least we feel great. I feel great. You feel great. Hopefully, everyone at home
Yes.
listening to this, they feel great. Or from wherever you're listening to the show, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, or anywhere else you find your podcasts on. But let's get into things, Ray. First off,
There's a plug.
the teams. First, from the American League, we have the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay finished first in the AL in the regular season. Then the Pirates they handily swept the Blue Jays in that opening round. Then they had a slobber knocker of a 3-2 back and forth series with the New York Yankees. And as our resident New York Yankees fan, right? What was it like watching that game or that series?
It was tough. We started off good. Garrett Cole did Garrett Cole things. Um, the pitching staff just wasn't there, and the Rays pitching staff is ridiculous. But like the home run, I was really surprised by like the runs
The Home Run
that were
Derby.
produced by both teams. Yeah, it was a huge series, but it sucks. But I'm glad the Astros didn't make it.
That's
That's
all that
all
matters.
any baseball fan can be happy about. Yeah,
That is all that matters because that's who they beat in the ALCS. They almost blew it though. They almost disappointed not only
close.
the city of Tampa, not only the state of Florida, but they almost blew it for the United States and Ray. They almost blew for the world. They almost blew it. They're up 3-0 on the Houston Astros on the Asterisks. And then the Astros came storming back, forced a game 7, but luckily we got out of it. Nice little 4-2 win to cap off a 7-game series. And the
Uh,
Rays save themselves from extreme amounts of embarrassment. And Rob
yes.
Manfred now just looks bad. And thank God, I think the biggest thing of all, those Houston fans finally can shut the hell up this season. They were so damn
Finally,
annoying.
I was getting so upset at how close they were getting to actually making it again too. I'm so glad they can just shut up and just be done with it.
So Astros fans made Twitter just an awful place to be. Uh,
Terrible.
how do you how do you live with yourself by having a team that literally cheated to win the World Series and you're okay with that? If
And no
not, they're
speculation.
encouraging
It's
it.
fact. Yeah, it was fact that they cheated, and I don't. How can you defend that? How can you defend a cheating team?
Yeah, Rob Manfred, talking straight to you, you bastard. But at least We didn't have to worry about that. Now, out of the National League, we had the first team in both the NL and the MLB as a whole. They dominated the regular season in literally every metric you could come up with. Maybe not literally, but like 90% of any stat. I guarantee you the Dodgers are at the top of the list. They breezed past the Brewers in the opening round 2-0. Then they blew past the Padres in sweeping that series 3-0. Then they became the 8th team in league championship history to come back from trailing in the series 3-1. Leave it to Atlanta to blow a lead.
That was the worst. I know. I mean, what do you expect out of a team from Atlanta? It's just, I guess, Atlanta fans couldn't be upset enough from that whole debacle with the Falcons. They had to just get so close, just one win, and that was it. Just need one more game. They couldn't do it.
Oh, Atlanta, aren't you guys just the best? At least you don't have Dan Quinn with the Falcons anymore. And you could catch our thoughts on that by going to our Week 5 NFL recap show over on the website too, www.thefourthandlong.com. And yeah, leave it to Atlanta to blow a big lead. And I really do feel bad for any fan from Atlanta. That city is just filled with disappointment, whether it be the Falcons, whether it be the Braves, or I think I have a hard time deciding who is the most pathetic city right now, whether it be Detroit or Atlanta.
I don't know. I mean, Atlanta's not even a bad team. Like both, I mean, if we're going to talk about just sports teams in general,
Not bad.
Falcons and Braves aren't bad. It's just when it comes to like just not completely and terribly choking, it's not. They just always lose it.
They just have
At least teams in Detroit are consistently bad. They have that.
Yeah, at least Detroit fans don't get their fans, or at least they don't get their expectations raised and then shattered.
Exactly.
They're always just low. Honestly,
Constantly.
I don't know which is worse.
Low.
Oh, poverty franchises. But man, these two teams, I love a matchup between the one seeds from either league. We're getting the cream of the crop. We're getting the best of the best. We're getting the 1 and 2 teams in the league. And I mean, that's probably going to breed the most amount of talent in the most exciting series. And what it did prove that these guys were not just posers when it comes to how they performed in the regular season. They're able to back up that solid performance in the postseason.
They were both very legit in this regular season. A lot of expectations on them too, and they've led up to them. You know, they've met the expectations so far.
You know, maybe a little less for the Rays, a lot more for the Dodgers, but we will get into that. Now, breaking down the series itself, we have a couple of the biggest things to watch out for. First off, the players with the most riding on the line with a World Series victory. Right? You start us off with this one.
My guy is Randy Arozarena. I mean, he's been unbelievable in the postseason, and no one heard of him before October. And yet, you know, he's leading the Rays in postseason home runs, and I think his batting average is really up there too. This guy's a rookie, and if they can, you know, stay behind this rookie and ride that wave, the Rays are going to be really good. I mean, if he struggles, I wouldn't be surprised if that is reflected in the rest of the lineup.
Yeah,
So,
he's been a phenomenal talent recently, especially when when the Rays acquired him over the offseason. That might have been one of the biggest, if not the biggest, off-season acquisition thus far. But for me,
who would have known?
My guy, he's a lesser-known name, except coming this postseason. The guy I want to talk about is a name that everyone knows. It's a future Hall of Famer. It's Clayton Kershaw, the man with the ridiculous curve, and he's regular season. We've always had two Clayton Kershaws his entire career. We've had the regular season Clayton Kershaw, where he has been lights out. He's been consistently dominant, and he's been a reliable guy and someone that the Dodgers can always count on to have a really productive start from him. He has a nice fastball, but everyone knows him, as I allude to, that vicious 12-6 curveball that just disappears instantly.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I don't know how you throw a baseball like that. I can see he can throw a baseball better than I could ever dream of throwing a wiffle ball. It's
Oh
stupid.
yeah,
It's stupid.
unreal.
But the thing is, that's just regular season Clayton Kershaw. Every single time we see him in the postseason, he comes up short. He chokes. He's the opposite of clutch. He just gives up dingers. His curveball goes from just disappearing in front of the plate to hanging, and it just looking there like a helium balloon right in the strike zone. And people
Yeah,
just take him out of the stadium, especially when they're in Dodger Stadium. Nice stadium, but it looks a little easier to hit home runs out of that stadium than almost anyone in the league.
yeah, very true.
Unless you're Yankee
Yeah,
Stadium, it's easier. It's easy to hit dingers there.
I mean it's easier to hit home runs, but you want to hit it out of the stadium. Dodger Stadium's a good field to do it.
Or it's these NL California teams. It's the Giants and the Dodgers that have easy stadiums to hit the ball out of. I wouldn't say easy, but easier. You get the point.
Yeah,
But if Kershaw, man, in this series, if Kershaw could come up clutch, whether it be in his starts, or I believe we're getting Kershaw and Snell in Game 1 tomorrow night, or on the night
so
of the 20th. And if he could come up clutch in this, whether it be from his starts or also we're probably going to see him come out of the bullpen one or two times this series, and if he could
yeah,
stay locked down in those appearances, this could potentially change his career in the way people look at him in the postseason.
yeah. Oh well, I mean, everyone remembers Madison Bumgarner's postseason run when he was just unreal. No one's gonna remember any of his other postseason starts. And same thing, Kershaw can turn it around easily
Mm-hmm.
if he just does honestly average because he's been less than average in every postseason he's played in so far.
Well, Dodgers have been into 3 World Series in the last 4 seasons, and in each one of those series, Clayton Kershaw has been awful. Literally
Yeah,
every single one of them, in almost like the last 6 years you can remember in the playoffs, he's just not there. But if he perform, it's a big if. But if he could perform, this will literally change his career, and he's already a Hall of Famer. But this will just put him into that next level of going from elite to legendary. That's the effect that not only the postseason has, but if any player, doesn't matter how bad you are, if you show up in the World Series, you will be remembered for eternity.
oh yeah,
That's what I love about the
without a
Fall
doubt.
Classic.
Always legends are made in October.
Now, the biggest weapon for either team is something I want to talk about. So, Ray, you mentioned Randy Rosarina, in your most player with the most writing on the line. Well, I disagree with that because I feel like he can go silent in this and not have like his career kind of altered in the same way Kershaw can the opposite way. I believe he's the
Yeah.
biggest weapon going into this series. He is the
Hmm.
hottest hitter in the league. Look at this. Last 14 games in the playoffs. He's batting 382, 7 home runs, 14 runs scored. He is just the fourth player with at least 7 dingers in the postseason before the World Series. Fourth player in history. And how old's MLB? 150, almost 200 years old.
Yeah,
And he's number 4.
a lot of time.
If that
He's
doesn't
doing
say
things
something.
that are unreal.
That it's just stupid. Now people might say, "Oh, he had the extra round to hit the home runs in this year." That's very wrong because he didn't even hit a single one that round.
Yeah,
So, two
he's
series,
doing some crazy stuff.
he's he's
Crazy stuff.
he's been unbelievable. So if he can stay hot, which I really do believe he will, and if he's the one that could get after this Dodgers pitching staff, if he's the one that can be the guy, whether it be getting a leadoff hit his first at bat, or being the one to punch the pitcher in their second time through the rotation, or if they even keep them in the third time through the lineup, he will punish them. And if he could find a way to beat this Dodgers bullpen, this series is going to be blown wide open for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Mhm. Well, I mean, Randy Arozarena is unreal, but I think honestly the biggest weapon for the Rays is going to be their pitching staff. Blake Snell, he's been ridiculous. Not so much in the postseason, but regular season he was killing it, and kind of a sleeper guy is Tyler Glass now. He's
Mm,
been
mm-hmm.
ridiculous, and especially, I mean, if you've seen him in the Yankees series, he was one of the only pitchers that could really like keep the Yankees offense quiet. And I think if they can just ride that and keep that going, especially if Blake Snell and even their number 3 guy Charlie Morton, if that pitching staff can do how they've been doing so far, um, they can keep that Dodgers offense quiet, then they're gonna have a really easy time in the World Series. Just because if they can actually perform against some of these superstar hitters, then there's nothing much the Dodgers can do.
Mm-hmm. They have been. I mean, that Yankees series made them look kind of bad, but besides that, they have been pretty dependable and reliable and just all around rock solid in these playoffs. Of course, in the regular
Yeah,
season, lights out. Uh, besides if regular season, besides the A's, the Rays without a doubt had the best bullpen in the league. It,
yeah,
it's weird when you play the Rays. It's dangerous because for 90% of the league, if you get to the sixth or seventh, and as soon as you get to like the seventh inning, it's pretty much game over at that point. If you don't have the lead if you don't get out to a lead within the first 5-6 innings, you're probably not winning that
game
game.
over.
And
Yeah,
if that isn't a confidence booster of saying, if let's win these first 5-6 innings, if we can do that, we're probably gonna win this game. What other
yeah,
team
we
can
can
say
ride the
that?
bullpen. They can just ride the bullpen out,
Is
and
there
it's
another league and team that could say that?
no way. Yeah, they can. It's pretty much really shortening games for them, and more confidence in players means more runs, better performance. It means everything.
Mm-hmm. And now with the going to the from the Rays to the Dodgers, the biggest weapon for the Dodgers, I do believe, it's the man that stepped up huge, absolutely clutch, defensively, during the National League Championship Series. The reasons they were able to win games 5, 6, 7, arguably, whether it be from home run robberies, robbing extra base hits, just putting his body all out on the line, was a big free agent. Like, was he got like 300, $400 million contract awarded? Mookie Betts going from the Boston Red Sox to the Dodgers, going from one big market to the next, and
Yep.
he has been nutty this postseason when it comes defensively. Arguably, with that defensive plays he was making in LCS, this arguably makes him the best defensive right fielder of all time, or at the least puts him up for discussion.
You think all time what? Like ever?
He could be top five. Mookie Betts could be a top five defensive right fielder.
As of now, if he keeps the pace that he's doing, yeah, he'll be ridiculous. The
Uh,
plays he's made
mm-hmm.
are insane. Like I can't get over some of the plays that he's got made, and like consistently in like back-to-back games and like multiple times a game, he's making a play, and it's just unbelievable.
But I mean, who else rubs home runs like it's a regular play that you make in the outfield?
Yeah,
I mean, come
it's
on
just
now.
yeah, he makes it look routine.
What's
That's
he?
what's so crazy.
What's he half the size of Aaron Judge, but still better at robbing homers?
I swear, he's unreal, dude. Yeah,
and
he's making crazy
and
plays.
that's not even the best thing of all. He's been producing offensively this postseason too. He's batting 310 this postseason. 5 walks and 6 extra base hits through the first 3 series. He hasn't been quite. It's not like he's just been the defensive guy that they could rely on. He's his defensive play for good reason has been outperforming and outshining his offensive production. But that's something that's being overlooked now, and so we have to remember that he's still doing solid on offense, and he's still
Yeah,
a good top of the order guy to have.
yeah. It's not like he's not putting up numbers. He's still consistent. He's still consistent getting on base, putting up hits. It's just like you said, that defensive performance is really just taking over the scene and just unbelievable. He's
Mm-hmm.
putting up MVP numbers, doing MVP things, and he's honestly worth the money that he's being given right now.
Every single cent of it, but of
Yeah.
course, all comes down to they can actually do it this time. But Ray, your guy on the Dodgers, that is your biggest weapon for the Dodgers.
So honestly, it's just the offense. But like to be more specific, it's their superstars that need to perform. Like Mookie Betts, if he keeps doing these defensive plays and like making plays and doing what he can do, he also has a ridiculous bat. But same thing with Cody Bellinger. If Bellinger can make plays out in center field and keep hitting how he was hitting, I mean, he's the one who took the Dodgers to the World Series, hit the go-ahead home run, and I think in the eighth or the seventh.
Mm-hmm.
But if he keeps hitting home
You
runs
know,
and
the
keeps
one that
doing
popped
what
his
he's
shoulder out of place with the celebration.
dude, yeah,
Hey,
that's
but thing
another
is,
thing
I
too.
can tell you from personal experience, it's really not that bad.
He'll be fine. He's maybe they'll have him play a few games at first base just so he doesn't have to make any throws. But if he can hit, if the superstars can do what the superstars are supposed to do, then all the other guys will just fall into place. I mean, even Corey Seager, who was kind of a big deal a few years ago, he just got NLCS MVP. If he does what he's been doing, this offense is going to be insane.
Mm-hmm. Very good points with that. I mean, you're kind of alluding to that their pitching can be really good. They've been suspect a little bit this postseason. They've been pushed a little bit this postseason. Not necessarily something that you could rely on, but that offense has always been there. Because
Yeah,
they blew out the Padres, and the Padres were good defensively,
really good, really good.
and they made him look like a joke. I mean, Tatis can only do so much there at shortstop. It's not like well, you want the
Exactly.
pitch too.
Yeah, man.
uh,
That Dodgers offense, as long as they are still hitting and still performing like the Dodgers offense that we've seen
mhm.
this whole year, it's going to be a really exciting World Series.
Well, there's a reason that the Dodgers were first in run differential, and it wasn't close. It was like 50 or something, just absolutely stupid with that stat. Like it
They
was.
yeah, they get it to everyone. Any pitcher they face, they've had good success on.
There's not a pitching staff in the MLB that is safe from this offense. But
Yeah.
Ray, it's time to get down to brass tacks. It's time to get to the point of the show. It's time to get what everyone here is waiting for. So since you're my guest, give me your prediction of who is winning the 2020 MLB Fall Classic.
Well, I've got winning in 6 games the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh.
6 games,
So it wasn't
not
enough just to
7.
say the Tampa Bay Rays. You had to go and say six?
They're winning in 6. And I'm gonna say one more thing to just build on that. The
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers are gonna win the first 2 of the series, and then Rays are taking the next 4.
Oh, oh, Ray. Are you coming for my spot? We all know I'm the guy with the takes. Are you trying to one up me on my own damn
I'm
show?
I've got a real spicy take.
Oh,
That's the spicy take
oh.
for you.
You know what? As a also one of our biggest fans, I think some of the stuff I've been saying over a year now, has been kind of wearing off on you.
A little bit, I think, but you know what? Just I can feel it in my heart. It's gonna happen.
Hey, right, but to that credit though, if you're anything like me, you're making some bold predictions, but a lot of the time they are right on the spot, right on the money. So hey,
Yeah,
hopefully the good part washes off from me onto you too.
I'd appreciate that.
See, but of course, there's 2 of us. We can't agree on this. Where the hell is the fun in that? We gotta be like Skip and Shannon on Undisputed. Literally argue over everything. Can't even agree on the damn thing. So with that being said, Ray, the Dodgers have been just disappointing over the last 4 seasons or last 3 seasons. You know, making 3 appearances in 4 years in the World Series, not winning a single one of them.
Yeah,
You are one of the biggest markets in the league. You can literally afford to pay anyone, pretty much afford to pay anyone anything. Bring in as much talent as you want because you are loaded. LA is loaded. And you haven't been able to perform the last 3 of the 4 seasons. You haven't been able to win the World Series. Well, albeit one of them you lost to cheaters. So that's still
yeah,
an asterisk. That's still there. I'll give you that. But the other two, you can't deny that. You can't deny the amounts of insane talent that this team has had over the past years. So, now, They finally go up against a team that isn't cheating and one that isn't a mega powerhouse and one that is a smaller market team. That's what I love most about this World Series, Ray. We go from the if you look at the Rays, they're one of the smallest market, one of the lowest payroll teams in the league. They're rivaling the A's with how cheap they are. And they're going up, and they proved everyone wrong. They proved the big market in New York wrong. They proved the big market in Boston wrong. They had both of those teams in the division. Then they beat the Yankees in a 5-game series. Now they're going up against the second biggest market in the league behind New York, and it's a big proven for them. But at the same time, I don't see it happening this year. I got the Dodgers in 7 games. The Rays are a very talented team. They are going to push the Dodgers to the absolute limits. The Dodgers have been tested, though. Honestly, I think it's a good thing for the Dodgers that they had a 7-game series in the NLCS after sweeping the first 2. That is a positive. The Rays have been hardened. They have been battle-tested this postseason with their 5-game series and then their 7-game series. And that is also a downside at the same time because that pitching staff has been worn out, that both physically and mentally. That team has been worn out. It's time for the Dodgers to, in their 4th appearance in 5 years, to finally win it all. The trophy's coming home to LA.
Very bold.
I know, right? Super bold to pick the best team in the league to win the series.
Yeah. It's not one of your hottest takes, but
no,
I prefer a little spice. I'll prefer a little spice, so I'm digging mine.
You know, Ray, at the same time, is it really a hot take if all the takes are hot?
That's the thing. See, that's why I didn't say a hot. I wanted to add a little, a little spice, a little.
It's no habanero. It's more of a maybe a little paprika take.
Yeah, paprika take. Sure.
There we go.
Why not?
That's what we're calling it. It's no pepper. It's just a little paprika take right there. And then with the winner of the World Series comes the winner of the World Series MVP. Ray, your MVP from the Rays. Look at the Ray picking the Rays. How did I miss that one when you first said that? Jeez, I am not on top of my stuff tonight. But Ray, your Rays and World Series MVP is going to be who?
My World Series MVP is going to be, right now, the longest tenured Ray on the lineup, Kevin Kiermaier.
Ooh.
He was a defensive stud in center field for a long time, still is. And, I think he's due. He's been there. He's been there when they were bottom of the AL East. He's come all the way up. I think he's going to have a great World Series. I mean, I don't know if he'll be batting leadoff or not, but I'm going to say he's got a few home runs. They might have him bat at leadoff just because he has so much experience in this spot. He knows how to get on base, and that's how you win games, is getting on base. I think he's going to have a great series.
Moneyball.
I think I think he's going to, I don't know, I'm going to say at least one leadoff home run this World Series for him.
First pitch leadoff home run.
I don't know about first pitch, but he's going to be batting over 400 this series.
At least both of us have been lucky enough to see one of them, whether it be, I remember it was 2 years ago now when we were able to go to opening day, A's Angels. Marcus Semien, first pitch, home run. And
bomb.
Yeah, I miss in-person baseball, bro. A lot of people on the show don't know that me, Ray, before this season, we had a tradition. We made it to 5 or 6 years in a row of going to a baseball game. So thanks, 2020. It was 6. It was 6 years. Well, okay. So just before I get to my MVP, that I'm just going to say right now, Ray, doesn't count. Our streak's still alive because this season it's a wash. Not real. Didn't happen.
Yeah, didn't happen.
See,
there'll be an asterisk as well.
But I gotta throw your name, Ray. A man that has been amazing in the regular season in his very young career, but someone that has struggled heavily when it comes to the postseason. A guy that has Clayton Kershaw really rubbing off on him. Cody Bellinger. He struggled in the playoffs through his whole young career so far. He had a solid regular season this year. But he is going to be your series MVP because his time is now. If he's going to perform in the postseason, it's going to be in this World Series when everything, absolutely everything, is on the line. He even had, as you mentioned earlier, hit that game-winning home run in Game 7, and that is what's going to be the catalyst for this MVP performance. It's that home run that's going to get him on track. What better way? We all know you're a former baseball player, so we know when guys are in slumps, it's, I would say, 80% mental.
Oh yeah.
It's a mental thing. So if you can build confidence by hitting a shot that excelled you into the World Series, what better way to build confidence with that?
Yeah, he's riding, like you said, a huge moment in his career and in Dodgers baseball. I mean, Game 7 home run to send his team to the World Series. It wasn't a walk-off, but
Go
he
ahead,
did
it's
it.
good enough.
Go ahead home run, and it was a bomb too. He hit it so far. Now he's just got to take care of that shoulder from celebrating. But he performed on almost the biggest stage. Now is the time to do it if he's going to do it.
It's gonna
He
happen.
has all the momentum.
So I kind of like this. I had to make up for my lack of a hot take with the Dodgers winning it with what most people would consider a hot take with Cody Bellinger winning MVP. And
Yeah.
I like your take. A couple solid ones with the Rays and then Kevin Kiermaier. I like this. But let us know. That's one of the things I want to know. So before we end this show, I ran a couple polls today, both on our Instagram and on our Twitter, asking all of you your thoughts on this. So the fans' take on this game of who's going to win the World Series. 61% of people say the Los Angeles Dodgers. 39% say the Tampa Bay Rays. That is on our Twitter, which of course you can follow us at Fourth Long Radio. Links will be in the description, or you can just go to www.thefourthlong.com. Then over on our Twitter page, we ran a poll on our story, and almost identical results. Dodgers 64% to the Rays 36%. So, I like doing that. A couple different platforms, and of course you can follow our Instagram at Fourth and Long Radio. I like a couple different platforms, a couple different viewpoints possibly, but
Yeah.
and different eyes, different audience. At the same time, though, pretty much the same results. So,
Pretty similar results. Yeah.
Hey, I love a little research, man. That's a little marketing major or a little marketing kind of student in me. I love that.
There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Hey, everyone, tell your parents if they catch you slacking off, just listening to one hell of a podcast like this one is. It's educational, bro. It's educational.
There we go. There we go. We talk numbers. We talk about alcohol safety.
Talk about nutrition with all the hot dogs I try to eat.
Nutrition.
We showed
How
you
many
the
calories you need in one day? It was a lot. It
Ah,
was. Oh my god.
that sure as hell
What a
was something.
terrible night.
But ladies and gentlemen, this has been our MLB 2020 World Series preview show. Let us know what you think. If you let us know in the comments on YouTube. Let us know over on Twitter, on Instagram, or best of all, Ray, you want to know what you could really do? You can head on over to our Apple Podcast page. Leave us a 5-star review with who you think is going to win the World Series. How do you like that one? So just make sure I plugged the website, and then also sometime this week. So Ray, we got the Fall Classic coming out. It's October. You want to know what that means?
It means cozy clothes and fall merch.
Oh,
That's
so
what
cozy
that
clothes,
means.
fall merch, so such as long sleeve t-shirts, hoodies, all that kind of fun stuff. Harvey the cat. If you're looking at the video version of this on YouTube, you seeing the young goat make his appearance onto the show. Happy debut, Harvey. But yep, you heard it here. Long shirts and hoodies are out very soon. So make sure to stay tuned because you are going to want to snatch one of those sexy looking things. But that's going to wrap it for us. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening to the end. And we have a great World Series Game 1, October 20th at 6:09 Mountain Time, because Mountain Time is the only time that matters, unless you're anywhere else, because we love you too. And we will catch you guys in the next show.